Hey, all right, there we go. Check the chat here real quick. Looks like it is working on my end. So, a few things we can talk about today. Kevin Harvick asking for more horsepower. A lot of drivers have been vocal that I guess we need more passing at short tracks. Short track package needs to be fixed. Many drivers have been vocal about that. NASA doing the partnership with NASCAR for whatever that thing was. That's pretty cool. What else is going on? Oh, Kaulig won. Kaulig won the appeal. So justice for Haley. Free Haley. Free Haley. So Haley is free. He's got his points back. So we'll see which direction you guys want to go with it. Jump into the chat here. See what you guys are talking about. Napa Racing Fan says, wish we had Kevin Harvick as NASCAR president just for 1,000 horsepower. That sounds awesome. Last year, I remember, had great racing throughout the whole season. Was 2014 with 900 horsepower. So, yeah, the horsepower would definitely help because it's going to help tire fall off. It's going to help how you modulate the throttle. You can't just jump on it because it's not underpowered. Things like that. It just puts more of it into the driver's hands. So it'll help out at every track, but it'll definitely help out at short tracks and road courses. So, and somebody mentioned on Twitter, I think it was slap shoes, maybe just take off the tapered spacer. That wouldn't even cost you any money or anything like that. So I think that's definitely something that could happen, and that would definitely be a positive direction to go. A cheap fix, if you will. The people in charge of the truck series need to go to the unemployment line, says Mark Barnum. So that's it's been a pretty bad truck series season so far. A lot of wrecks, and definitely the Martinsville thing was pretty much just an epic disaster. Let's call it like it is. Cup and Xfinity have had their problems too, but trucks is by far the worst. Some of the worst officiating I've seen comes out of the trucks more times than not, says Napa Racing Fan. So yeah, like I said, not only Martinsville seems to be the cherry on top of the milkshake or whatever, but yeah, it's been pretty bad all season. Just a lot of questionable calls, and then just even starting the race when they started it, and then you throw another caution to test out the damp weather tires, as Kyle Busch called them. So yeah, the whole truck series thing was a total debacle. Like, I went up there to watch a truck series race. I was very convinced that there's no way they're getting this race in. And then by the time I get back home, they had started the truck race and already gone back into a red flag condition or something like that. So disaster, complete disaster. Let's see. The truck race, if you can even call it that, was horrible. It wasn't. I wasn't a diehard NASCAR fan. I would have turned it off before they started. So there you go. That's another good point. So if you had a new fan there for the truck race, that probably put a sour taste into their mouth for that. Mark Barnum says Deegan should send Hocevar flowers for his annex. She gained one spot in the point standings because of his bonehead move. Hey, so there you go. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So Haley Deegan bumps up one spot in the points for Carson Hocevar doing Carson Hocevar things. I can't think of anybody that has so much positive momentum behind them, and then they just keep doing boneheaded things to throw it all away. I'll throw it all away. I feel like at one point he had a ton of people behind him, and I feel like now that all those people, or at least the vast majority of those people, jumped off it. And as much as they liked him, they equally dislike him now. So that's it's just an interesting way that one went. Best part of the past weekend. Oh, Steve Roofer, what's up, man? Says hi, fellas, and what's up, BB? Mark Hunter says best part of this past weekend was watching the guy take the Martinsville clock. Best trophy in NASCAR. Yeah, no doubt about it. I've got an old video about that somewhere. I did a long time ago. I did a video just about the Martinsville clock. One wise guy says the Fox coverage was really bad again, missing wrecks, battles for 21st place. I mean, yeah, you missed a ton of stuff. Even Dale Jr. acknowledged that they had to have missed some of the passing in the back of the field when he looked at the statistics for the overall race and how many passes there were. And like I was saying it on Twitter, I still haven't seen the replay. There was a lot more passing. Don't get me wrong. There was still a lot of single file racing. Don't get me wrong. But there was a lot more passing, I feel like, than they showed on TV. Because I was always finding battles on the track, and I've talked with people, and they were like, man, they never showed that. They never showed that. There were several really good battles they never showed. The key ones being Ryan Preece versus Ross Chastain. They probably are going to pay each other back for the rest of the season, the way they drove each other. And Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, and Joey Logano had a really, really great battle, and I don't think any of those made it to TV. If you were watching the live feed on YouTube of Joey Logano's in-car, that is the only place you got to see that really good battle between Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, and Joey Logano. Matt Hunter says 7 words: a spec car on short tracks don't mix. Hey, I mean, that's a fair enough statement. I think you need some tire fall off or more horsepower. More horsepower would give you tire fall off. So more horsepower would basically take care of both of those. Oh boy, that 24 car sucked this weekend. Says, say Kyle, not Kyle. Yeah, he wasn't good. Kyle Busch was really bad. I was surprised by how bad Kyle Busch was. I don't know exactly what happened there, but there were a few guys who I was surprised did not run very well. At one point, Martin Truex was 1 or 2 laps down. He ends up finishing 3rd. So I don't know what happened there. I was ready to talk about. I can't believe Martin Truex was going laps down at Martinsville. I never thought I'd see that. Then he ends up finishing 3rd. So he fixed it, whatever was going on with it. Let's see. The Cup race was better than last spring, but a long way to go to be good, says Mark Martin, fan for life. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it too. Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head with that one. They're going in the right direction. They just need to do more, and I think more is either more tire fall off or more horsepower. Rob Mark says, I'm a cantankerous tonight. Howdy from Canada. What's up, Canada? What's up, Robin? I'm less cantankerous now that Kyle is on air. I just wanted to listen to Kiss, Detroit Rock City. What kind of car is it? Pole, says Robin Marks. So there you go. Let's see here. I'll think of a poll here in just a minute. Lap that lick button, or you can like that lick button, or you can lick the like button. I don't know. As I think Iceberg's deal. Lick the like button if you would like to, but don't feel pressured. Napa Racing Fan says, if JJ Yaley is an F1 champion, does that mean Jenson Button is a USAC champion? It's only fair, right? If they give one prestigious award to one guy, you got to give the prestigious credentials to the other guy, right? So there you go. That was a big snafu on Fox's part, which leads further into they're not putting a great effort behind their coverage. Johnny Five, of course, I put my tinfoil hat on and threw it out there that are they doing bad coverage on purpose to renegotiate a cheaper TV contract? So I think it's a fair question to ask. I'm not accusing them of doing that. I'm just saying it's a fair question to ask. Johnny Five Play says, I've had to cancel my cable dish, was trying to charge me $150 a month. Appreciate your videos. Yeah, I'll keep them coming. I try to keep you guys up to date on as much stuff as I can, as often as I can. Let's see here. Matt Hunter says the most wild stat is that you'd have to go back to Hendrick's first win in '84 for the last time the number 5 won there. Okay, that is a wild stat because you consider all the people that they've had in that 5 car since 1984, and yeah, that's a pretty wild stat. Or anybody's been in a 5 car. That is definitely a pretty wild stat. You would think, Ricky Rudd would get a win there. Ricky Rudd was really good there, but he never won, I guess, in the 5 car there. So that's a good stat. Terry Labonte never won there in the 5 car. That's a real good stat. Good stat, Matt Hunter. Say Kyle, not Cow. I feel like Hocevar looks like Tony Hawk's long lost son. LOL. Hey, it could be. Stranger things have happened. He might have some Hawk blood in him. Let's see. OJ and Toothpaste says BJ McLeod had a really dominant car Sunday till that wheel fell off. What a shame. He could have gotten a top 3. Oh yeah, Earth 2. BJ McLeod was rolling, buddy. He was rolling. No doubt about it. How about the wheel falling off and NASCAR missing it for like almost two full laps? How about that? That was not a good look for NASCAR there. Napa Racing Fan says, I wish all NASCAR Cup Series races were on Fox and NBC. Completely avoid FS1 and USA. Fox showed local programming ads while the race was on FS1. That's just dumb. Yeah, I mean, I wish they could all be on regular network TV too, but unfortunately they're trying to push the cable packages. So that's why they put them on those other networks. So I don't know. Maybe if cable dies, they'll all be on the main networks again. Stupid Roofer says, same here, Robin. It was 87 degrees here Saturday, snowing this morning. Make up your mind, Mother Nature. Geez, Stupid Roofer. Yeah, the up and down in temperatures is pretty crazy right now this time of year. Mark Barnum says, Johnny, best way to deal with Dish is telling them you are switching to DirecTV. They will give you a better rate. I mean, yeah, that has worked for my mom's done that in the past and gotten a better deal or a better rate. So I know that in fact works. Robert Marks, I had bad people disrupting my Sunday. I didn't catch much of the race. How did Ross do what? How did Ross do what Ross does? So Ross he blocked Ryan Preece to stay on the lead lap in stage one, and that got Ryan Preece a little warm under the collar. Then Ryan Preece sped on pit road. That got Ryan Preece even more warm under the collar. Then they had an absolute battle, and I can't believe Fox didn't show it because they were just straight. Or Ryan Preece, actually, I should say, because Ross Chastain was in front of him. Ryan Preece was wearing him out. Like he was for somebody who preaches about we need to race with respect and things like that. Ryan Preece was not racing Ross Chastain with respect. And to be fair to Ross Chastain in this situation here, he was just doing his best Ryan Newman impression where he was making the car really wide. So I don't know. That was interesting to see. But Ross Chastain, he ended up with a top 15. I can't remember exactly where he finished. Maybe 13th. But he ended up getting back up there at the end of it. Nice strategy call to get him track position midway through the race as well. Fubo TV, YouTube TV, Hulu Plus, Live TV, and others are more affordable than cable/satellite, says Napa Racing Fan 927. And I think that's pretty much a fact for everybody right now. So I think cable's just hanging on. Cable and satellite are just sort of hanging on. Satellite's going to hang on a little bit longer because some people's internet is so bad. But cable's definitely in a tight spot right now. Elite says, "What's up, Elite Precision? What's up, BB? I want to fix the racing. Get rid of shifting. Take the taper spacer off, and bring a really soft tire that's durable." I think if you just did one of those things, it would definitely fix it. I don't know how you really fix the shifter. I feel like that's going to be a really expensive fix, and it would probably be a year to 6 months, even if they decided to do it right now, according to what Dale Jr. was saying on the Dale Jr. download. So that one might be further off, but they can definitely get a softer tire in there. That wouldn't be a problem, and taking that tapered spacer off wouldn't be a huge issue either. So I think that's definitely all three of those would work. I think any one of them would definitely help out a lot. If you do all three of them, I think you're going to have some really great racing. And I like Kevin Harvick's 1,000 horsepower crate motor. I want to see that 1,000 horsepower crate motor because then some of us might be able to throw one in whatever cars we have laying around. Napa Racing Fan 927. Ross was in back, played strategy and went to the lead. Ended up with a top 15. Says Napa Racing Fan. Yep, he good strategy call by his pit crew, and then he of course made the most of it later on in the race. Stupid River says Yo Elite Precision 2907. John Ray, I'm watching Kyle Larson at Eldora tonight. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. They are racing at Eldora tonight. So yeah, if you want to skip out on this and watch the Eldora racing, I would not blame you at all because I get it. It's definitely more fun than me jabbering. Aaron Flynn says about TV ratings, the Bristol weekend, we rolled out to Florida for family stuff, the nice places we stayed at for 5 days on the trip. That they had to have FS1 and FS2 so I could tune in supporting the sport. That's really cool. I would never even think to look that far ahead on certain stuff like that. But then again, every time I take a trip, it's to go to a race too. So I don't know. I never actually thought about stuff like that. But that is a super amount of dedication there, Aaron. I like it. I like your planning and organization on that one. I'm going to get you to plan my future trips if I ever take a trip that's not NASCAR or racing related. Napa Racing Fan 927. I know what it's like to not have access to FS1, NBCSN, USA, or TNT and ESPN before that. It's not fun to completely miss races. That should be reworked in the upcoming contract. I agree with you, Napa Racing Fan. Luckily, we got PRN and MRN, so you can at least listen to it when you can't see it. And a lot of people just put the race on and put mute and listen to the radio anyway. Say Kyle, not trapping the 22 a lap down was a mistake. I was yelling at my TV that Joey was going to end up in the top 5 with if the 41 didn't trap him. I hate it when I'm right. Yeah, so it looked like at one point the 41 just gave up on trying to pass the one car. I don't know if that was sort of Ford team orders because Ross was putting up a fight, but at one point you could just see the 41 just give up and say, "Hey, it's not worth it. There's only 10 laps left in the stage, and nobody's going to catch me. I got a big enough gap." But if he had put Ross Chastain a lap down, Ross Chastain would have got the lucky dog, and Joey Logano would have been trapped a lap down, is what we're talking about there. As it ends up, Joey Logano got the lucky dog and was able to make that lap up and obviously gets the second place finish. Another thing, the Joey Logano versus Martin Truex battle for second place. I guess they didn't show that on Fox either, but that was also a pretty good battle. Napa Racing Fan 927. Wish I could watch Larson at Eldora. Dirt Vision is way too expensive. I'm assuming it's on there. Flow Racing isn't bad though. Yeah, most of my friends have Flow Racing. I don't know too many people that have Dirt Vision, but I sort of, the late model deal is sort of what I run with, so that it sort of makes sense, I guess, from that perspective. Definitely more late model stuff on Flow than obviously on regular pavement late models, I should say. Then Dirt Vision, OJ and Toothpaste says, did you like Elite Precision's video on Fox NASCAR coverage? I did like it, and I think a lot of other people liked it too, because it got a ton of views. Very impressive video for sure. It was really spot on and funny. What Bob Pockrass pre-race segment with me was awful. Says OJ and Toothpaste. Bob Pockrass pretty much really good at what he does, but every once in a while he looks a little stiff on camera. I don't know. I'm not trying to critique anything, because he's definitely the man as far as breaking news and all that. Nobody works harder, I don't think, than Bob Pockrass, but every once in a while he gets a little camera shy, I feel like. Camaro 50, what's up, man? Good to see you on here. Say Kyle, not Kyle. Elite's videos are 100% fire, says Say Kyle, not Kyle. Yep, I agree, 100%. Cassandra Keller says, hi, y'all, from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. What's up, Cassandra? What's up, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho? Mark Barnum and Roofer say hello to Cassandra. Like Dislike says, Top Fuel has how much horsepower and how many manufacturers, says Like Dislike. That's a fair question. They also run pretty much the same block from what I'm understood. So, but either way, it doesn't matter. Like NASCAR can look at it and fix it if they wanted to, right? So good point. Also, as far as that goes, I forgot to mention Tony Stewart won the drag race this weekend, so that was pretty cool. I forgot to mention that in the video. So shout out to Tony Stewart. He's now won, dirt, drag racing, open wheel, and NASCAR. So that's pretty wild, and sports car. So pretty wild. Just a variance in cars that he's won in. So that's really cool deal for him. Roofer dropping the link to Elite Precision. If you guys want to check him out. If you like what you see there, give him a follow. Let's see. Cassandra Keller, hi, Mark, Roofer, and Robin. Napa Racing Fan says, I've seen the video on my YouTube page, but haven't watched it yet. Definitely will. Oh, that's a good one for sure. Elite saying, thanks. I really appreciate that. To say Kyle, Beast 1624, howdy from Dallas. What's up, Dallas? What's up, Beast? Shaw says, so what is wrong with Fox? Do they only have one or two cameras? I thought I would see stuff I missed or highlights or streams, but apparently they just did not get it on the camera. So, yeah, that's what I don't understand. Them and NBC, I don't understand why you don't have just one camera there, and that cameraman's sole job is to find the best race on the track at that moment. And then he can even buzz into the director and be like, hey, we've got a really good race back here. Y'all might want to show that. They should have one camera person just doing that. Like I said, like that's probably the best way to fix this, because I'm not saying it was the most exciting Martinsville race you've ever seen, but there is definitely from what I've seen, from what I was tweeting and what you guys were tweeting back that were watching the race on Fox, they could have showed a lot more action than they showed. That being said, it wasn't the greatest race of all time either, but it was definitely, I would say, way better than last year. They're going in the right direction. They still need to go further in that direction, though. Elite Precision says, expectations for Talladega this weekend. I think Talladega is going to be wide open. Hendrick dominated there last year and then sort of choked it away. So I would expect Hendrick to come back there this year and not choke it away, I guess, is the best way to say that. So I would look for them to be really organized and probably work together. That being said, Ford has really sort of hit their stride here recently, and so is 2311. 2311 is getting to that point of the season where they have either super fast cars or they have cars that are just total junk. At Martinsville this weekend, they had super fast cars. So I would look for the Fords and the Toyotas to be highly competitive like they always are at super speedways. But I would keep an eye on Hendrick, just because so far this year it's been the season of Hendrick. They've had really good stuff. They've been pretty much, them and Trackhouse have been the only two Chevrolet teams that are consistently up there. RCR is sort of in that 2311 zone where they're either really fast or they're really not good. And I don't understand the difference in speed between Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch's car this weekend at Martinsville. I feel like something mechanical must have happened with Kyle Busch's car, because they qualified around each other, but then Kyle Busch's car just progressively got worse and worse. I don't know what happened with that one. Whereas Austin Dillon's car progressively got faster and faster, and he did another Austin Dillon thing where he got like a top 12 or something. So Interesting results, to say the least. Mark Barnum says Stewart and Hagan both, and Leah made the semis. So, hey, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Aaron Flynn, I don't like it when the DVR is set to record the race and come home to watch it, and the race got switched to another channel. Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, like rain delays and stuff like that. I agree with you, Aaron. That's 100% the worst thing. You got a DVR and you come home and it's like some just some nonsense, and you're like, where's the race at? That's definitely gutting and very disappointing. Or when you sit it for 30 minutes extra, but the race runs like an hour extra, and you miss the last 30 minutes of the race. That also sucks. Napa Racing Fan says Tony Stewart won his first NHRA event in Top Alcohol Dragster. Very impressive, winning 4 wide by 0.3 of a second. So yeah, he apparently he smoked him pretty good on that one. So let's see here. A solid run for my Stenhouse again. I think he's got a run for the Talladega win Sunday too, says Jay Campbell. Yeah, so don't sleep on Stenhouse. He's having a great season. And he's getting it done. A lot of people doubted him. They were like, oh, he won the Daytona 500. That's a waste of a playoff spot. Well, he's pointing his way into the playoffs either way, even without that win. So, good on him. He's having a great race, no doubt. Great season, no doubt about it. Love NHRA, especially 4-wide nationals at Vegas and Charlotte coming up. Yeah, I'd like to see that 4-wide at Charlotte. That's actually one close enough that I can get to and see pretty easy. Maybe one day before I leave the planet. Stevie River says, 4-wide, baby. Awesome for Stewart. Yeah, not only did he win one, right? It was one of the cooler spectacles winning a 4-wide one as well. Mark Barnum says, I didn't see any of it. I just saw that he won a race. And I knew it was the 4-wide deal. So I wanted to give him a shout out there. My expectations are low for Dega Elite. Well, it might be one of those Dega races where they don't do a whole lot. But I feel like after the frustration of Martinsville, I feel like a lot of people are going to be hyper aggressive at Talladega, especially during the last stage. The first 2 stages might be crap. That's another thing. I think this Martinsville race would have been a lot better if you didn't have the stage cautions. Once again, I should have brought that up in my recap as well. Robin Mark says, howdy, Cassandra Keller and y'all. Am I the only Canuck tonight, you hosers? So I don't know. There might be some other Canucks watching. Let's see. Say Kyle, not Kyle. My expectation is the 24 either wins or is wrecked by the 21. Happens every super speedway. Yeah, that's a fair statement. We'll have to see. I'm surprised Harrison Burton hasn't shown much improvement. I was hoping he would do better this year. I want to see the Wood brothers have a good season. Last year, Petty GMS, now Legacy, had a good season. I really want to see the Wood brothers have another good season. Get the curse off their back, and then get another win, and in that talk of getting that, what's it going to be, their 200th win? So a Napa Racing fan says, cautiously optimistic on Talladega. Wasn't bad last year, but not great. I think it'll be good this year, just because I think they'll be frustrated they couldn't pass at Martinsville, and they'll make up for it. Shah says, I am a Western Canuck. So there you go. We got at least 2 Canucks in here tonight. Roofer says, I might just have to take BK for Dega. It wouldn't be a bad pick. Roush Fenway Keselowski is another team that's on the rise. I think they're going to take basically all the momentum that Petty GMS had last year. It seems to have flowed Roush Fenway's way, and Petty GMS Legacy Motorsports is a disaster this year so far. Let's see. I lost my spot. I'm going to jump in here. Bet your long shots for Talladega. It will be a surprise winner there. I think that's a fair guess, in my opinion. Bumblebee, what's up? Just in to say, hey, I got to be up at 4 a.m. for work, so I'm going to sleep. Oh, man, that's going to be a rough one. Was glad to hear Kaulig got vindicated. Hope y'all are well. See you on the Sunday stream. Thanks for dropping in, EB. Get you some rest. 4 a.m. Is a crappy time to wake up. For sure. Shah says, yep. Lose the stage cautions. Yeah, the stage cautions like that. If we had more green flag pit stops at Martinsville, because the stage cautions ruined that, I think it would have been a much more interesting race. Someone to maybe look for at Talladega is Todd Gilliland. He's been on a roll. TFG, Todd freaking Gilliland. That's his new name on this show. He's shown a ton of potential in the 38. Front row finished 1-2 at Talladega with David Reagan and David Gilliland in the spring of 2013. So there you go. I think that is a fairly good wild card bet is Todd Gilliland. I like what he's shown recently. He's shown that he's tired of people not saying anything when he gets introduced. I was talking to my friends I filmed some of the driver introductions, and a lot of guys got booed, a lot of guys got cheered. But when Todd Gilliland came out, nobody said anything. And I leaned over to my friend. And I said, "That's the worst thing that can happen to you as a driver. I'd rather get booed or cheered. But when you come out and they don't say anything, that would really irritate me." And I think it did, because he ran really good at Martinsville. It won't be long. They'll be cheering or booing one way or the other, but they won't be silent with him anymore, in my opinion. I think Burton is out next year, says Roofer. I think Bob Pockrass has basically alluded to that. He didn't come out right out and say it, but he put a tweet out and he said he thinks he's on the hot seat. Bob Pockrass usually doesn't say stuff unless he's heard something. So I think you might be onto something there, Roofer. But like I said, just speculation. Claude Avila says they need to put Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus in the Fox booth. That would be a pretty good. Mix-up. I would like to see those guys sort of call a race. I think that would be interesting from their perspective. Robin Mark said, like I said, I missed most of the race. How did Austin do? Austin finished in the top 12, I think. He was somewhere in there, maybe top 13, but he was definitely in there somewhere. Mark Martin fan, Robin Marks, I was born and raised in Canada, but been living in the U.S. for 30 years. Hey, so there you go. Tons of Canadian viewers. That's pretty cool. And they actually show that to me in my statistics. I think it's like 6 or 8% Canadian viewership or something like it. It actually might be higher than that now. I need to look at it. I haven't looked at it in a while. Watched an AI-generated NASCAR tier list done by the last 4 to 5 presidents. The only thing they agreed on the whole video was that the 21 was hot garbage. That's pretty funny, says Cal. So I watch Casey Neistat, and Casey Neistat did a whole video using AI or whatever. He had AI write his whole script. So I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. The video he did. So I tapped in mine. I was like, what would Bologna Burger have a script for a NASCAR recap race or anything like that? And it said, we don't know who you're talking about. Bologna Burger might be a niche YouTuber that is a niche group. And I was like, oh man, I got completely, because I was just trying to do a fun video like Casey Neistat did. And I was like, dang on. I was like, Chat GPT or GTP or whatever just totally annihilated me. I was like, dang. I was like, that was cold blooded. So don't type that in unless I guess you've got like a ton of followers, because I was like, dang, that was cold, super harsh. Anyway, Mark Barnum, Roofer, Burton needs to be out next year. He might be. Like I said, I don't think Bob Pockrass would have said that unless he had heard something. And Lost Knowledge says, hey, LBV, what's up, Lost Knowledge? Kyle says, hey, EB, bye, EB. Grand opening, grand closing. Robin Mark says, Mark Martin fan for life. Cool. Canada is beauty. Way to go. Best finish in the world. I think I'm going to escape to the wilderness soon to live out my old age, says Robin Marks. Canada's a good place to do it. They got some great wilderness up there for sure. There's no doubt about that. 4 a.m. I just have hit my first deep sleep. 2 a.m. is my bedtime. LOL. Retired life, says Mark Barnum. Oh man, I missed the old 2 a.m. days during the summer break or whatever. Burton is a bust for sure. Gilliland to the 21. Hey, there you go. You might be onto something there, Roofer. Either him or Zane Smith or somebody. It's all going to depend on who goes to that Stewart Haas ride for Ford. Napa Racing fan Harrison Burton moved to Cup way too soon. Wood Brothers just took him for the Dex Imaging sponsorship. Matt DiBenedetto had no sponsorship, says Napa Racing fan. I agree with you. But if you look at it from their perspective, they took a gamble on somebody that might be coming too soon. Harrison Burton, from his perspective, like, hey, it's a brand new car. Everybody is sort of starting on an equal playing field. So even if he came up too early, and also from the Wood Brothers perspective, they're like, hey, we keep the doors open because we've got this sponsorship. It made sense from everybody's perspective. Unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out. So I'm not giving up on Harrison Burton, but it might be time for him to move back down for a season or two in Xfinity, get a little more seasoning, and then come back up. We've seen that work for a lot of drivers. We saw that work with Eric Almirola. We've seen it work with Martin Truex. We've seen it work with a lot of drivers. So it's not the end of the world if you have to go back down to Xfinity or trucks or anything like that. So like, dislike, who would you have replace Burton? Says like, dislike. That's a good question. It's going to depend on who. It depends on who Stewart Haas gets. If Zane Smith is available, you got to take Zane Smith. But I feel like Stewart and Haas is going to get a free agent. So I think, and if they don't get the free agent, they'll go with Zane Smith. So at that point, if it leaves open that spot, you got to go after somebody like Josh Berry, right? Josh Berry has shown what he can do in that 9 car. Josh Berry would be the next pick. So I would say out of the two, Zane Smith and Josh Berry, because I feel like Stewart Haas is either going to get Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, or somebody like that. And like I said, that 10 car is going to open up. So I feel like eventually Zane Smith is going to be over there at Stewart Haas anyway. William Wagman says, please hit the like button. Most epic burnout ever done. Young Money finally got his grandfather clock, and he is going to win tonight at Eldora. Go Young Money. He had a pretty good Kyle Larson had a pretty good burnout too. He did a burnout all the way around the entire track. So yeah. And a lot of people saying that John Hunter Nemechek burned them down to get all the illegal out of the car by lighting it on fire. So that's also a fair statement. The old Chad Canal style, just tear it up after you win. Aaron Flynn, probably around 30 years ago, I went to Talladega and helped on the tow trucks. That is the race that needs to be on everyone's bucket list. It's definitely on my bucket list, no doubt about it. Stupid River says, BB going international. Noise. LOL. Yeah, I had somebody messaged me on Twitter. It said that they were watching me from Argentina. So I think that's the first time I've been watched from Argentina. So that was pretty cool too. Sky Talent, I'd like to see Todd Gilliland in the 21 next year, Zane to the 38, and Hill to the 3rd RCR car. Yeah, Austin Hill's another one. So put Austin Hill in that mix. I can't believe I left him off the list. But yeah, you got to put Austin Hill in that mix to go in that 21 car too, if RCR can't get their stuff together. Shaw says, I would like to see Boyer and Dale Jr. together for commentators, but that won't happen. LOL, opposing networks. Yeah, unfortunately, but I do think that would be a pretty decent booth. A lot of people don't like Boyer. He doesn't bother me for whatever reason, but some people don't like him. Mark Barnum, dislike. Burton needs to be replaced by Zane Smith. I mean, if Zane Smith is available, like I said, if Stewart Haas can't get a free agent, I feel like they'll go with Zane Smith there. Matt Hunter, the biggest obstacle to the likes of Labonte and Rudd not making it to victory lane in Martinsville was due to the exploits of one Russell Wallace Jr., says Matt Hunter. Let's see here. I'd like to see what Zane Smith could do in the 21 over Harrison Burton. Talking about Rusty Wallace, by the way, Russell Wallace Jr., just in case y'all didn't know who he was talking about. He was pretty tough in the 27 and the 2 car back in those days, no doubt about it. Matt Hunter said, I'd like to see Zane Smith could do in that 21 car over Harrison Burton. I would be curious because we know when Ryan Blaney was in that 21 car, he was getting straight Penske stuff. I wonder how good the stuff that Harrison Burton is getting actually is. Putting somebody different in that car, we would obviously know for sure. Todd Gilliland would have to be in that mix too. We've seen sort of Zane Smith possibly taking over at front row. So wherever Zane Smith lands actually could factor in what everybody else does. But I feel like Stewart Haas will make their move first and everything else will sort of fall in line for Ford after that. Don't sleep on Cole Custer. Cole Custer started to get hot here too. So he's another one who could work his way back up into the mix. Like I said, sometimes you need to go down to Xfinity, get some more seasoning, and then come back up, and you'll be a totally different driver. We've seen it work for Almirola and Truex. Just in case you missed me, I think I just said that though. Say Cal, curious to see how Jeff talks about Harrison when NBC takes over. Should be smooth sailing. Since he will only have to mention the 21 when it takes out the field at Dega in the playoffs. I want to see Harrison Burton do something similar to what Ross Chastain did, and I want to see if Jeff Burton has that same level of intensity when Harrison Burton does it. And I think that's what you're getting at too. So I just want to see if he calls it down the middle then, because I don't know. I don't think he will, and I wouldn't blame him because that's his son. So let's see here. Escobar says, I think the way Gilliland is driving, he might get the nod at SHR. I mean, that's a fair question. That's a fair statement. I think it's going to come down to funding. And if they can get a free agent or not. Like I said, I still lean toward the fact that they could get possibly a Blaney or Christopher Bell. I think they're going after drivers like that. Poll, who's going to the 21? Yeah, we can do that. Let's see here. Who's going to the 21? Zane. It's only giving me 4 options here. Let's see. There we go. I'll just go with those ones right there. See how it plays out. Let's see here. Now Kyle Larson, that's how you do a burnout, says Shaw. So there you go. Yeah, that was a heck of a burnout by Larson, no doubt about it. William Wagaman says SHR will eliminate 2 cars next year. I don't know about that. I think they keep all 4. There's too much money tied up in those charters or whatever. I don't think they'll get rid of them just because of that. Now watch Burton will win. Talladega says like dislike. So yeah, that could happen. I think NASCAR makes a rule about nosing into the wall for a burnout if the car has mud flaps. They're definitely going to make a rule about it because it also sort of tore up the track. So I'm pretty sure NASCAR wasn't happy about that either. So I'm sure a rule is incoming. Wood Brothers were last relevant with Ryan Blaney, especially with the 2017 Pocono win. They've been stuck at 99 for way too long. Okay, so it's 99. I didn't know if it was 199 or 99. I was having a brain cramp here on that one. Back again, BB Ricky Rudd beat Gordon in 98 to win at Martinsville. Yeah, we were talking about in the 5 car. Somebody put out a statistic. That was the first win for somebody in the 5 car since 1984 at Martinsville. That's what we were talking about there. And that's why Ricky Rudd and Terry Labonte got brought up because they drove the 5 car. And it's hard to believe they didn't win races for Hendrick in the 5 car at Martinsville. Yeah, that's what we're getting at. But yeah, for sure. He won in the either the 10. What was it? I think he won in the 10. He his own team, Ricky Rudd Racing or whatever it was called. He won in the 10 Tide car, if I'm not mistaken. Napa Racing Fan says, I know DiBenedetto made the playoffs, but didn't do much otherwise, other than a few great finishes. Right now, 35% Zane Smith looks like he's winning there. DiBenedetto did okay. I think just the way DiBenedetto left was sort of a scorched earth deal. So that's interesting, too. Harrison Burton makes the playoffs this year. Is that a reach, says OJ? As long as there's super speedways, there's a chance, right? Put LaJoy in there. I mean, LaJoy is a fair – it would only give me 4 options. I wish I could put way more people in there. LaJoy is a fair option too, but I think LaJoy wants to build something over there with Spire. That's what he keeps talking about. LaJoy is on fire, says Roofer. Yeah, he even got into it with Kyle Busch this weekend at Martinsville. That's another one. I don't know if they showed that one on TV, but Kyle Busch worked him over pretty good there. Napa Racing Fan says, I would love to see Corey LaJoy win this weekend. That would be a cool story. Yeah, no doubt about it. Like Corey LaJoy getting into the playoffs with Spire, that would be something amazing. Agreed. Dakota Henderson says, Roofer, talking about Corey LaJoy there. Aaron Flynn, who do you think would drive the 3 when Austin moves up on Earth 2? That's a good question. At that point, you just got to slide Kyle Busch over there into the 3 car, right? No doubt about that. I'd be in the 21 or BJ McLeod. Either way. I feel like there's going to be certain exceptions. I feel like Kyle Busch has to be good on Earth 1 and Earth 2. That's just and Kyle Larson. I don't know. I'm breaking the rules of Earth 2, so maybe I'll take that back. Say Kyle, not Kyle. I'd be in the 21 next year if my daddy had the right last name or owned his own company. So say Kyle, not Cal. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily, maybe not the 21, but I think you could get A-Ride. Gilliland to the 4, Zane Smith to the 21. Hey, I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad guess there. Escobar says the 21 is basically a 4th Penske car. They build them complete in the Penske shop. Yeah, but there's different levels of funding and things like that. So the 4th best, and are they getting all the same stuff the other 3 cars are getting? I mean, it's a fair question to ask. Napa Racing Fan 927. I think Burton stays for at least one more year. I could see that definitely happening if they can't get funding. Because once again, at the end of the day, the Wood brothers want to keep the doors open, right? So I could see that happening for sure. Shaw says Dale Sr. would still be in the 3 on Earth 2. Oh, no doubt about it. Oldest driver ever, says Shaw. A lot to, who was it? Norm Benning. He's dominating on. He's the second oldest. I can't remember who would be older. So Norm Benning would either be the oldest or the second oldest. So it'd be him and Earnhardt over on Earth 2. A lot of talk on DBC that the trucks and Cup run close as far as arrows. So Xfinity as a stepping stone is not as important now with the next gen. Yeah, that's a fair. That's probably a fair thing. Where it used to be the other way around, right? Like the trucks didn't matter as much, and you could skip over them because that's what Ty Gibbs did, right? So which he's kind of like sort of disproving that, right? Ty Gibbs is actually running pretty good, and he never ran in trucks in his life. So at the end of the day, I think it just depends on, what crew chief you got and how fast you can figure out the next gen car. Shaw says, I do love Earth 2. We all love Earth 2. Earth 2 is the best. You gotta be the 10, says Roger Riggs. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. The old 10 Tide car, another underrated Tide paint scheme. It was the same as every other Tide paint scheme, except it had 10 on the side of it, which made it different and cool. Sekai Nakao says, Matty D committed to the 2. Cardinal Sins of good business, tried to air dirty laundry, exactly, and brought politics into it. You can't fix stupid, says Sekai Nakao. Yeah. It was and I'm nothing against Matt DiBenedetto. I think he's a good driver and stuff like that. But the way he left Wood Brothers was a classic example of how not to do something, right? So I will stand by that. Escobar says Barry is going to the 77, co-owned by Junior. What if Junior bought the 77, co-owned it, and moved it over to, I don't know, Legacy Motorsport? What if Spire and Legacy Motorsport became Spire with Legacy Motorsport, sort of like it was Chip Ganassi racing with Felix Sabates? How about that? Then they could all be terrible together at the same time. I'm really disappointed that Legacy sucks this year. I hate it, every minute of it, because Eric Jones deserves better than that, man. And so does Noah Gragson. OJ and Toothpaste, Casey Kane. And that being said, Legacy is working on it to make it better. I'm not dissing them. It's just been a disappointing start to them. I really had high hopes for them the way they finished out last year. Casey Kane should not be in the top 75 greatest drivers of all time, says OJ and Toothpaste. I tell you what, I'm going to wait for the whole list to come out. And then I will, like I said, I'm not going to make a list of my own, but I will just nitpick the crap out of the list that they made and who should have been in and who should have been out, without doing the hard part of making the list to my actual self. Beast 1624, Bush, and the 3. I can hear the NASCAR fans' head exploding now. That's what I'm here for. I want fan head explosions, as many as possible. That's a T-shirt for sure. Dakota Henderson, KBM gives RCR a good stepping stone to find driving talent. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think that was like an added benefit for RCR. They're like, yeah, we get another, because they've already got the really good Xfinity Series team, and then they get another one with a truck team. So they've got plenty of drivers in the lower tiers touring series that they can sort of develop and will be the next guys up. I'm really interested to see where Austin Hill goes. I wish I'd put Austin Hill up in there. Dakota Anderson says KBM. Oh, I just said that one. Let's see. Say Kyle, not Kyle. To be fair, the 21, the fourth best at HMS, was the 5. Was nowhere near the other cars for 4 years until they moved the 24 and the 48 out of the same shop. Yes, I am curious about how Hendrick is run now. Do they still have 2 cars built over here and 2 cars built over there? Or how is that going down? Because at one time they were building 2 cars up on the hill, and down in the valley-ish part of it, they were building 2 other cars. I don't know exactly how it operates now. It's been probably a decade since I've been up there. Like Dislike says, I feel the racing has been good, but the coverage is bland. If it's a race for 14th, sell it like it's the best thing ever. That's what they used to do back in the day, and that's sort of what I miss, and that's sort of how I watch a race. Like, if the leader's got a good gap of a lead, I will look back and find who's racing who, and then I'll look up and see what position they're racing for. Not that I even care, but I just look for the best race on the racetrack. I guess I'll watch a race a little bit different than other people, but that's how I always watched every race I've ever watched. OJ, there's been times where I get locked into a battle for 21st, and I'll miss the end of the race, like who actually wins it, because I'm like, dang, they're really battling hard, and then I'll look up and like, oh, they're going for 21st, but if it's a good race, I'll watch it. Let's see. Austin Cindric has not showed up this year. Yeah, he's been a little off pace too. So that's probably a fair statement. Roofer says if he is, Casey Kane should be about either 74th or 75th. So yeah, that's I would have to look at Casey Kane's statistics. Like I said, I got to see the full list, and then I'll have to look it up statistically. That'll be a deep dive. As far as looking at the numbers on that one. OJ says, yeah, the 42 and the 43 are hot garbage. It's not the drivers, it's the cars. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. They've been off with the setups just a little bit, I would say. We do have a poll question. Who's going in the 21? Is Harrison Burton going to stay? Or then there's some other options. I can't see all of them right now, but there's other options in there. So check them out. With the group of Cars Tour is owned by Barry. With the group that the Cars Tour is owned by, Barry could go to the 4 with a number change. I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. The other thing about the 4-car is they're losing the Busch Light sponsorship. What sponsorship are they going to find over there on the 4-car to replace that? So that's another question for the 4-car. Mark Barnum, the people who went scorched earth with the net zero stuff today, NASCAR will run a hydrogen fuel car before they're ever going electric, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, because NASCAR is sort of mini endurance races, and mini endurance races do not set up well as it stands right now for electric cars. And it will be interesting to see what technology they go with. Like they said, they're developing a fuel. A fuel would be some type of internal combustion engine. Even the hydrogen fuel cell cars, I think, are internal combustion engines. I don't know. I have to look into them. William Wagner says then they need to get rid of the helicopter shots. They don't work. Says William. I mean, yeah, like the old drone shots. If you're not going to show the good battles, get rid of the drone shots, right? Like Dislike says, I would like to see Kyle in the 3-car. That would be BA, says Like Dislike. I think a lot of people want to see that. I think Austin Hill will go to either the 16 or the 31. That's a fair guess. I don't know. Justin Haley's starting to come into his own, in my opinion. He finished out last year pretty good. And if he can get on a roll this year, I think Justin Haley's starting to come into his own. But it'll be interesting to see. I think Kaulig really believes in him too, also. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But I like the way you're thinking there. It's all pretty much. It's not the same organization, but they're all right there on the same campus. Napa Racing Fan says, I don't know if I agree with Sterling Marlin as top 75, but I understand why they chose him. A good driver, top 75, question mark. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there's going to be a lot of guys you can possibly say that about. That's why I'm waiting for the whole list to come out. Matt Hunter says, what's up, Molten Roofer? Say Kyle, not Cal. HMS has 2 cars in the same building ever since they changed all the numbers around. I don't remember what 2 teams are in the same building together. That's a fair statement too. So I think the 9 used to be the 24 and I don't know. I guess the 48 used to be the 88. Yeah, it's all. I don't know. I can't even keep up with it. But yeah. Race Grove says, man, I miss Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, and Bob Jenkins. Yeah, that was. I agree with you, Race Grove. That was the power team right there. That was my favorite broadcast lineup as well. Bob Jenkins and Benny Parsons, man, I miss those dudes. And Ned Jarrett, class act. One thing I might solve Fox's problems is to have totally different broadcast crew from the NFL, same director, producers, cameraman. NASCAR and Fox's cost-saving measures are not beneficial. I agree, because it just seems like they got a director that doesn't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know. I have not been impressed with the coverage. I used to defend Fox, but I can't defend them anymore because it's been really bad this year. OJ and Toothpaste, do you think Carl Edwards will make the top? And it's not been the booth, in my opinion. It's just been the camera work for the most part. You can go either way on Clint Boyer. I know a lot of people dislike him, but Mike Joy has held it down this year, in my opinion. The camera work is just really so much you can do with bad camera work when you're announcing. Zane Smith at 40% right now. Looks like he's going to take this thing home. OJ and Toothpaste, talking about the poll question up there. Vote on the poll if you haven't voted yet and want to. Do you think Carl Edwards will make the top 75 list? I feel with the other drivers that they've already put in there, I feel like at this point, Carl Edwards would have to be a lock, but I've been surprised before. Steven River says, I feel bad for Jones. I was way off. I thought Jay there was going to be awesome. What a disappointment. But RFK, we're in a rebuilding year last year. I look at them now. I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. They kept building, and Petty GMS looked like they were going to build, and then with the name change, could be a curse, right? You took Petty off of it, and now you're cursed. The old Petty curse is on Legacy Motorsports. I just made that up. That's not true. Napa Racing Fan, I'm just mad that there's not a Petty Motorsports team in NASCAR anymore. That's just a personal opinion that I hold that I need to get over. Carl Edwards is a slam dunk for 75. You would think so. OJ says AJ Allmendinger haven't really showed up yet this year besides Coda. Yeah, that's They both had a rough start to the season. If Dinger didn't run good at road courses, I could see him being replaced too. Says Mark Barnum. Matt Hunter, I can't stand the fisheye cam that Fox uses. It shows nothing, almost as frequent as kids in the stand shots, says Matt Hunter. So, yeah, a lot of that's what I'm saying, a lot of filler. Instead of showing all that filler, you could wait till the field gets spread out. And instead of showing filler all the time, you could just show battles throughout the field, no matter what position it's in. The diesel run electric has been dependable through history, so why not biofuel electric nowadays? Get the farmers a piece of the pie. I mean, they're going to have to do something eventually, just the way government regulations are coming in and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out by 2035. Let's see. Say cow, not cow. 9 was the 24, 24 was the 5, 48 was the 88, and 5 was the 48. Madness. It's total madness. Total madness. I agree with you. So let's see here. So the 9, if they kept it like it was, the 9 car and the 5 car are being built together, and the 24 car and the 48 car would be getting built together. So yeah, I think that's right. Let's see. I'll do a better job at directing Fox's NASCAR coverage. For one thing, I would have noticed that JJ Yaley is not an F1 champion, and would have deleted that from the graphic. Yeah, that was super lazy. They just obviously just typed in a name and didn't fix the bottom sub graphic, and that is just super easy to do. Like, I mean, you see me do similar graphics on my channel when the names pop up and stuff like that. It's a really easy thing to fix. Napa Racing Fan, I would also bring back headshots instead of cartoon pictures. The cartoon pictures have got to go. The superhero stuff, everybody's over it. Like, dislike, NASCAR, including in theaters. Look at the Marvel numbers recently. NASCAR conspiracy theory before the race. They showed Rick Hendrick and the 5 winning their first race. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's a pretty cool little thing. They didn't get a great likeness of Jeff Bodine with that actor, but I feel like the actor did a good job. It just didn't look a whole lot like Jeff Bodine. But that was really cool for them to put that together. OJ and toothpaste. Do you see Kevin Conway making the? And I don't know if I buy into that theory, because if you look throughout the history of Martinsville Speedway, Hendrick Motorsports has owned that racetrack for a long time. So let's see. Do you think Kevin Conway making the 75 greatest drivers list? OJ and Toothpaste says on Earth 2, no doubt in my mind. Earth 2, Kevin Conway's in there. Shaw says, BB, I feel you. I cannot get over the no petty motorsports. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just really disappointing. It's just really disappointing. A lot of fond memories with people who aren't with me anymore of us pulling for the petty motorsports team. And then, to not have it anymore is sort of ending of an era, and wasn't expecting it. So, I don't know. It sucks for me, but I'm sure a lot of people don't care. But I think a lot of people feel like I feel about it too. Escobar, I'm not picking on small teams, but I feel like Rick Ware Racing should not be allowed to own 2 charters and run 30th or worse every week. Yeah, I feel like NASCAR's got a rule in place, but they won't do anything about the Rick Ware Racing situation. Either that or Rick Ware Racing is manipulating the 30th place finish rule somehow. Josh Strickland, what's up? I'm working. I can't commit. Just listening. Enjoy your show. I hope you had a good time at the race. Comment on that a little. And Denny sucks. So the race was really good. I had a good time. I met a ton of people who watched the show. So like last year when I went, I met a few people in Phoenix, but when I was at Martinsville, hardly anybody recognized me last year at Martinsville. So I really wasn't expecting much this year. Man, boy, was I wrong. Like, a lot of people came up and said, hey, I watched the show and stuff like that. And like, the really cool thing was I was at the Hendrick merch tent, and one of the people working at the Hendrick merch tent and his wife, they recognized me and said, hey man, we watched the show. And they were talking about the Ross Chastain new sponsor deal. And they're like, man, even their friends on the Trackhouse trailer hadn't told them about that. So he went over there and gave him a good ribbon about the sponsor deal over there. So that was really cool. So shout out to the Hendrick merch trailer. I meant to get back over there and say hey to him again. I told him I was coming back. I never got a chance to make it back around, but it was really cool to meet everybody that I met this weekend at Martinsville. I was not expecting to meet that many people. Like I said, I met 1 or 2 people at Martinsville last year. I met quite a few at Phoenix, so that was really cool. But then this year at Martinsville, wow! Like I met a whole lot of people that watched the channel. It was very humbling. Just a really cool experience. And then not only that, but I saw like a lot of people that do like late model racing. I ran into a bunch of people there. Peyton Sellers had his car out there from where he won the national championship a couple years ago. They had his car out there on display. He was up there talking to Mamba Smith. Just a great time. So I got to talk to those guys as well after he got off stage. So that was really cool. Just a really cool experience. And the race itself, I thought, was not bad. It was better than last year's race by a lot, but still left a lot to be desired too. They went in the right direction, like I said, but they could go a little bit further. Rick Hendrick after looked like he showed up for American Psycho remake, and then they told him he'd be acting for a NASCAR scene. Him finding out in church from his mom that he won the race, that was I feel like that was a little, I mean, that's probably how he did find out, but it was a little Hollywood the way they did that one. Like, oh, I just shook the preacher's hand, and then I got a phone call from my mom to telling me we won the race. I feel like that was a little Hollywood, but whatever. It worked. It was a good way to tell that story. They do normal headshots for truck and Xfinity, but Cup, we got cartoons. Makes no sense. I agree with you 100%. Danica will be a top 75 driver on Earth 2. Earth 2, Danica is the best female driver of all time. No doubt about it. What is your biggest pet peeve? After failing in the IndyCar series for many years on Earth 2, Danica Patrick goes to the Cup series and becomes a 4 or 5 time champion. OJ and Tupe says, what's your biggest pet peeve with Fox coverage and NBC? NBC is when they start shouting. They shout too much, in my opinion, where they could just increase the, I don't know, the inflection of their voice. They don't necessarily have to scream. So that's my pet peeve with NBC. Fox is the camera work. The camera work at Fox is atrocious. It really takes away from the product. I don't know that you can save it with the commentary because they just miss so much with the camera work. Those are my two biggest pet peeves. That being said, everybody there is professional and would do it better than me if I was in there doing it. So other than the camera work, I feel like I could do decent camera work. Say Kyle and Kyle Moody has said the back marker charters lease their charters to each other to avoid the NASCAR revoking whoever is the worst of the bunch. I knew there was a workaround. So that's what they're doing. So NASCAR needs to put a rule in place about that and put some pressure on them to run better. I'm an old Mopar guy, says Shaw. Yeah, I mean, I was a petty guy, so I like Chevrolet and Mopar when I was growing up. Obviously, Dodge didn't come back till 2001, so I was just a Chevy guy. And then when Dodge came back, I was a petty, and I pulled for Bill Elliott and Casey Kane and the rotation, Scott Riggs, the rotation they had over there at Evernham. Who was that little short? Casey Atwood, that guy. I never was a big Jeremy Mayfield fan. I didn't dislike him. I just I don't know. After he wrecked Earnhardt for the win, I was like, F that guy. I didn't hate him, but I just was like, whatever. I couldn't be super mad because Earnhardt had done the same thing to a million people before, but I was just like, whatever, dude. I don't know. It is what it is. I was being a hypocrite. Fair enough. Dawson Fair says, you going to Talladega races this weekend? I will not make Talladega. I'll be working either South Boston or Hickory. Whichever direction I go this weekend. Shaw says satellites were my jam. Napa racing fan. Kaulig got points rescinded today, just like Hendrick. W for NASCAR. Yeah, good move on NASCAR's point. Had a 69 and a 72. I'm getting all misty with the memories. Yeah, my grandpa had a Belvedere, which is pretty similar, I think, to a satellite. The one that it was the body style that Richard Petty won 27 races in a season. Justice for Justin has been done, says Sky Talent. Nice Shaw, says Roofer, talking about the old satellite there. Let's see. Napa says, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but Fox does way too many zoom up shots of the cars. I don't need it zoomed in. If I want to see it zoomed out more to me, more of the racing action. Yeah, I agree with that. Chrome Diesel says F1 fan. And the other thing is when they go to the in-car cam, they show too much of the driver. Oh, look at what the driver's doing with his hands. I don't give a crap, man. Like, whatever. We know he's turning left. Maybe at a road course. And on a road course, I would just want to see their feet. Like, I want to see outside of the car. I don't want to see the rear of the car where he's getting bumped from behind. I want to see outside of his window or on top of his roof. I don't care about the rest of it. Unless he gets in a wreck, then I want to see the back end of the car, maybe in that situation. Napa Racing fan, and that's all of them across the board. NBC, Fox, all of them. I don't know if anyone else knows. Oh, I just said that one. Chrome Diesel, F1 fans watching NASCAR on Fox will quickly regret watching it. Cartoon characters, too many kid clips, and poor broadcast. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair enough statement. It's night and day. In all honesty, BB, on Earth 1, is Ty Dillon doing a good job so far this year, in your opinion? Nope. I don't know that he has anything to drive either, though, because he's had, to start the season off, he had, 3 or 4 engines blow up? So I don't know. Unfortunately, even though I don't think he deserves it, Harrison Burton's going to stay in the 21 car because he has the funding to stay there. It doesn't matter if he underperforms or not. Dex will be there. I mean, that's a fair statement. The only reason I'm saying that is because Bob Pockris said something, and normally Bob Pockris wouldn't say something about him being on the hot seat if Bob Pockris probably hadn't heard something. So that's why I'm saying he might be on the hot seat. Mark Barnum, brother had a 67 Belvedere. Hey, so there you go. Those cars were awesome. And not only that, I forgot to mention my granddad's was light blue. Of course, it wasn't exactly petty blue because petty blue's a GM color and a Chrysler color mixed together. But he had pretty close to petty blue on his too. OJ and Toothpaste Fox 2001 to 2011 was gold. I agree with you 100%. I would hate when they ended the year and would go to TNT. Fox was very good back in the day. I agree with you 100%. Shaw, I feel like Fox could just give 20 fans cameras at various points on the racetrack. It definitely wouldn't hurt. OJ and Toothpaste says, I hate when Fox shows the feet cam when they're shifting. Like, who gives a F? Yeah, especially now because it's just like bump, shift, bump, shift, bump, shift, bump, shift. I mean, that's it. We don't necessarily need an in-car camera anymore. We can see through the window how much they're turning, right? So especially if they're wearing white gloves like Ryan Blaney likes to do. Say Kyle, not Kyle. Fox needs to check the camera guys for the Predator list. They like zooming in too much on youngsters. So like super uncomfortable says, say Kyle, not Kyle. Yep. YouTube is very, very funny about that. So I'm not going to say much more about that one. But I understand what you're saying there. Shah says, LOL, agreed with OJ and Toothpaste. Roofer says, in the famous words of Kyle Busch, MSM NASCAR coverage is a WBOF. So there you go. Make of that what you will. Obviously can't say all of that on on TV. But yeah, mainstream media NASCAR coverage is not as good as it could be. We'll put it that way. Moulton says, I need to rant real quick and say, and I hate saying this as a fan of him, but what is Carson Hocevar? We need to get your anger under control. I get you have anger issues, but don't let it get the best of you, dude. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Dawson Fair says, wet. So there you go. Molten Rage, like I have anger issues, but I know I can try to control it. It gets hard, but you can't let it get you. And that's what he did with, it was total junk. What he's done, like he's just got a body of work of when he gets upset. He loses his mind. That's the only way to really say it, and does stupid stuff. Napa Racing Fan, Fox does way too many zoom shots of cars. I don't want zoomed up shots. We need to see as much racing action as possible. Wide shots, not close-ups. Basic production course stuff, if you ask me, says Napa Racing Fan. I agree with you. Let YouTubers do it. We can do it better, says Roofer. Hey, I'm not opposed to it. I wish NASCAR would let certain YouTubers take a crack at it. I know Iceberg and IDK Player, they do a pretty good job with their series on iRacing. So give them a crack at doing an actual broadcast. Wouldn't be bad. Blake McCandless used to do iRacing stuff. He's now with the Cars Tour. He'd be another one. He's not necessarily a YouTuber, but Blake McCandless is from that world. He could also get it done, no doubt about it. The Fox pre-race show back in the day was awesome, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, Fox used to have a really good coverage, and then about maybe a decade ago, it just went to crap. I'm a fan of Hocevar, but that wasn't right. Not only cost himself spots, but that incident ended the race, says Napa Race Fan. Yep, it was crap. Carson and Lawless Allen are both idiots, says Mark Barnum. Shaw says, I had to Google WBOF, LOL. So, yeah, if you want to know what it is, Google it. I can't say it here. Carson Hocevar will be in Spire Motorsports 77B. So there you go. Bingo says top 10 for Chase. I'll take it. Yep. Let's see. OJ, and he came out of nowhere for that top 10 too. That's what was crazy about it. OJ and Toothpaste, thoughts on Carson Hocevar, right hooking the guy at Martinsville. So the guy is William Sawalich, and William Sawalich, by the way, really good race car driver. Him right hooking him was bullcrap, and then that's all you can really say about it. Typical Carson Hocevar crap. Elite says, I'll give Harrison one more year in the 21. I think some people forgot how young he is. Plus, the 21 doesn't have a strong Penske alliance. Hasn't been the case since Blaney was there. I agree with you on that. I don't think he's getting the same level of equipment Blaney was getting. Yes, it's prepared by Penske. No, I don't think it is prepared to the same level as the other Penske cars right now due to the lower funding that they're probably getting right now. So I would say that that's probably true. Say Kyle says Carson isn't going to change anything until he gets parked. I agree with that. I know for sure it's at least the second time he's hooked. I feel like it's the 50th. I'm with you on that one. NASCAR hasn't done squat to him. I agree with you 100% on that. Chrome says, as a truck driver who likes driving manual, I want to remain in top gear longer. I need more horsepower and torque. That's the case that's happening in Cup with the lack of horsepower and torque. Yeah, that. And also I feel like because it's such low horsepower, they can just mat it. They don't have to modulate the throttle. You don't have to pretend like there's an egg. I might be wrong about this. You don't have to pretend like there's an egg under your foot and just ease into the throttle because there's not that much of it. I feel like they can just get more aggressive with it. They don't have to be quite as finesse with it. Shah says, one wise guy says, anybody want to comment on Tony Stewart winning a Wally over the weekend? Yeah, so we did talk about that a minute ago, but yeah, Tony Stewart has now won in drag racing. He has now won on dirt and sprint cars. He has now won in he has now won in sports car, and he has won in NASCAR. So, I mean, Tony Stewart, he has won in everything he has ever climbed in. So, what a talent there. Great win for him. And not only was it a win, but it's like a big signature drag racing event that he won at as well. Moulton, is Carson talented? Yes. Does he have the personality? Yes. He's reminded me of a pre-Road Atlanta aftermath matured Noah Gragson, someone who has an angry attitude but hasn't been punished for it yet. Yeah, he definitely needs to snap out of it, though, at some point. Say Cal, not Cal, got the BOF figured out, just missing the W. Mark Martin fan. Fox treats racing like the National Enquirer treats news. Not really the booth's fault. It's production and directing. I agree with you, Mark Martin fan for life. That's 100%. 100% the deal, in my opinion. Dawson Fair says Carson Hocevar will be in Aspire Motorsports 77 next week in Xfinity race at Dover. Yeah, hopefully he can do something with it there, and hopefully he can keep his head on. Let them have a shot. Just a couple of races. Freeman Motorsports live streams. He's doing pretty dang good. Iceberg, E-Steph, and BB says Roofer. I think the NASCAR Weekly Podcast has earned it. They've been doing it longer than me. So I think they would definitely have to get first crack at it. I don't know how good I would be actually in the booth. So let's see here. Like, dislike. Does anybody know what's up with Brandon Brown? I think he's just in a tough spot. Somebody else is basically taking over his team. So I don't know. Not looking good. Not looking good for him. E. Damon says, so Bristol stunk. Martinsville stunk. Two favorite tracks. NASCAR is on borrowed time. I watched Long Beach. That was racing. Yeah, so if NASCAR keeps having a crappy product, they're going to have to worry about people turning the channel off. That's for sure. OJ and Toothpaste says, how bummed do you think Josh Berry was when they said Chase was coming back at Martinsville? Probably pretty bummed. How many of y'all think that Chase Elliott didn't want Josh Berry in his car at Martinsville? That's why he came back early. I think that's a fair question to ask, too. Not saying he did. I'm just saying it's a fair question to ask. Elite Precision says, I think the person that hates Carson Hocevar the most is Brett Griffin. I listened to him on DBC. Brett Griffin has a lot of hate in his heart for a lot of people, in my opinion. OJ and Toothpaste. By the way, Chase Elliott is on the Pat McAfee show. That was awesome. Yeah, so there you go. Say, Kyle, oh my God, Brett hates that boy with a passion. Elite. Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't know. Brett Griffin, to be 40 years old, he surprises me with how seriously he takes stuff. And I'll leave it at that. Napa Racing fan, Elliott's interview on the McAfee show, Pat McAfee show, wasn't bad. Yeah, I think it was good too. Moulton says, oh God, Elite didn't mention Brett. I block everyone who disagrees with me. Griffin, just don't be the last guy to say anything. Yeah, that's a fair critique of him. He can dish it, but he does not want to hear it coming back in the other direction. I think that's fair to say. How long till I get blocked when somebody shows them a clip of this? OJ and Toothpaste, I don't know if I even follow him, though. I follow DBC and Couch Racer, so I guess technically that's him. I don't know if I actually follow him, though. What's DBC, says OJ? Door bumper clear. And Napa Racing fan says door bumper clear. Dirty Moo Media podcast. Jay Campbell, BB, I know it's a week out, but what are your thoughts on Dover? Wife and I are hauling down from New Hampshire to watch. I think it's a very underrated track and should get a spring and fall race. I like Dover too. I'm with you. I think it's a good racetrack. Jimmy Johnson always dominated it, so I would probably say a Hendrick driver will win it either just a Hendrick driver. No need to differentiate. They're all good this year. Randy Harrison, Bubbles is even better than Burton. No doubt about that. DDC is a podcast with 3 Cup spotters. Says Elite. Yep, for sure. I love Dover. Dover is completely unique. There has been good or great races there. Yeah, I've never seen a super disappointing Dover race. In fact, that's the last racetrack that Kyle Petty won on, if I'm not mistaken, in the Silver Bullet, the blue, pink, and silver car. Door bumper clear. Yeah, I don't really like that show. Not my taste. Says OJ. Griffin needs to attend AA meetings, says Mark Barnum. Randy Tengen says, "What's up, BB? What's up, Randy? Napa Racing fan. DDC is okay. Dawson Fair. I'm going to the truck race at Worldwide Technology Raceway in June and watch practice qualifying for Cup race. Are you going to it? I don't know if I'll make that one. Let's see. Bolton, I'm surprised he hasn't blocked me or even though I have a clear dislike for Brett. Rufus says, I think it's 50-50. It's leaning more toward us, leaning toward getting our NASCAR news and commentary from YouTubers, says Roofer. I think that's definitely a direction a lot of mainstream people that used to watch mainstream media are going more toward YouTube for all things, including sports. Escobar says, I think the East got screwed with races taken away. One from Dover, one from Pocono, one from Loudon. That's a fair assessment. And Shy is also agreeing. OJ and Toothpaste Door Bumper Clear is so biased, though, toward their drivers. Yeah, it's definitely not an unbiased show. I think that's something you can safely say about it. The guy, Moulton says, the guy was right about Carson. I would honestly say that Priest, he was right about him, but did he go about saying it in the right way? That's what I would say about it there. He was right about Carson Hocevar, but did he approach it in a productive manner? No, he acted like a child when he called him out. You would have thought they were both 19-year-olds there. He was not wrong at all in his Charlotte interview. Just nobody listened because we all thought he was way too harsh. Well, he was too harsh. He said it in a childish way. That's why he got brushed back for it. If he could have pieced it, he's a college graduate. He graduated from South Carolina. He could have put it in an intelligent manner, an intelligent critique to where people would have been like, oh, you know what? He's got a point here, but he didn't put it that way. Napa Racing Fan, the New Speed channel in terms of talking about racing is YouTube. Many great channels covering the sport, including, I appreciate it, Napa. I do my best. The only bad part of Dover is the fact that you're in Delaware. Wayne's World flashbacks intensify, says Say Kyle, not Cal. Delaware, the home of, insurance or banking? It's one or the other. Kyle Petty should be in the booth more. Oh, Kyle Petty's, I like Kyle Petty. He's the man as far as coverage goes. He tells it like it is. It is KP. He says OJ and Toothpaste. Fun fact, that's who I was named after. So I do like old Kyle Petty. Napa Racing Fan, good point. As someone from the Northeast, Northeast doesn't have enough races. I'll include Idaho in that. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. Elite 29, can you take one word out? LOL, says Stupid Roofer. Beast 1624 Roofer, spot on. I get 80% of my news from BB and the NASCAR Weekly Podcast guy, says Beast. Yeah, I appreciate it. Check out Elite too. He does a good job as well. Tim Race, did you catch Junior's take on shifting? What makes it so difficult to change gearing? I don't know if it's necessarily you don't need to change the gearing. He was talking more about take away some braking. He thinks if you take away the braking, I think if you add horsepower, you don't have to worry about any of it. But yeah, NASCAR just wants everything to be the same. So I feel like they regulate the gear that's in it and everything too. So I don't know. I might be wrong about that. I know they did it one time. I think it's the home of LLCs or something of that nature, says Say Kyle, not Cal. Bold move. Riley Herbst will replace Kevin Harvick next year in the 4, says Dawson Fair. Could be for sure. It brings funding. So that might be the funding that replaces Busch Light when Busch Light moves on. Shaw says used to like E-Step, but he has gotten to be a bum kisser for me, says Shaw. I don't know. I feel like he's doing what he has to do to grow his empire as big as he's got to grow it. So I don't know. I don't want to grow my empire that big, so I don't have to play nice. So I don't have to do that. Molten Ray says, yeah, you're right. He didn't do it the right way, but his words were not wrong. I mean, yeah, but he did it childishly. So And at this point, he said it now. He would be completely justified to be angered because Carson hasn't learned at all. That's a fair statement. Like I said, if he said it in a different way, he would have got more traction behind it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Jeff Henson, let's go baloney. I'll do my best, man. You think Jimmy Johnson is regretting being part of LMC? I don't think he's regretting it. I think they're just having a down year. I mean, he's just getting started. So I don't think he'll be deterred at all. SHR could be in shambles without Harvick next year. I want to see SHR stay in NASCAR, but they have a very tough rebuild ahead of them. 2018 was a good year, but moving from Chevy to Ford was a mistake. I don't know. They did pretty good in 2019, I think, or whatever year Harvick won. What year did Harvick win all those races? Whatever year Harvick won all those races with Ford, they did pretty good. So I don't know. BB lives. BB lives are greater than MWP. Don't even at me, says hey Kyle, not Cal. It's not a competition. All those guys are really cool, so it's all good. Dawson Fair, I think Ty Dillon, and it's a completely they do like a pre thought out show, and it's completely different. It's not a comparison. It's not a competition. Those guys are all cool. Mark Barnes says, please no cursing in the chat. Yep. I'm like Ron Burgundy sometimes. Sometimes I don't look at him ahead. So trying not to get the dollar sign of sadness to get the stream demonetized. So let's see here. OJ, I think it's JJ is smart. He's going to take over completely all parts of the plan. I mean, eventually he will because he's the youngest guy in the mix. Barring a tragedy, he's the youngest guy in that mix. So he would take over. 2020 Harvick won 9. Rest of SHR won 1 in a fluke. I don't know, man. Custer out restarted him there, so I don't know. He was in the right position, and he made the most aggressive move. David, what's up, man? Dover's a great racing racetrack, or used to be. Hey, BB, I like Kyle Petty. Say what you mean. I mean what you say. 100%. That's right, buddy. Don't hold back. Just tell them the truth. Elite says, what was your first time seeing Larson win in person? Oh, was that your first time seeing Larson win in person? Yeah, it was my first time seeing him in person. I was bummed out because I was supposed to go to Richmond, and the South Boston race got pushed to a night start, so I didn't make Richmond, and I was bummed out because I was like, man, I could have seen Kyle Larson win. Then I got super lucky, and he won at Martinsville. So, first time. Hopefully I can experience that one day, says Elite. I hope you get to experience it too. I've been super lucky in my lifetime. In my lifetime, I've seen Kyle Petty win at Rockingham. I've seen Kevin Harvick win at Charlotte, and now I've seen Kyle Larson win at Martinsville. All those were some of my favorite drivers growing up, all the way till now. Obviously, never saw Earnhardt win, so that was a bummer. But I'm not super bummed about that because I have seen you sort of the main guy pull for a win. That's something a lot of people don't get to see. So I'm counting my blessings. I'm not bummed out that I didn't get to see one or two other guys I liked win. Sky Talent, remember LMC lost a lot of sponsors, less money in R&D. Maybe that's a fair point. The airline industry is not doing great either. The owner, of course, is the owner of Allegiant Airlines. So it could just be a financial situation this year. B says, say Kyle, not Cal. I like both equally. We're all working together, guys, says Roofer. Jeff Henson, yes, I like it. I'm sure they're cool, but I don't go out of my way to jump on the NWP. I like Eric and Danny B. I'm just kind of meh on BFM, and Iceberg hates HMS, so LOL. Which is funny because he's a Dale Jr. guy, so I don't know that he necessarily hates anybody. I think he just gives his opinion on stuff. I don't know. They're sort of like the Wu-Tang Clan. Pick your favorite member, right? Some people like the whole group, and some people like 1 or 2 members of the Wu-Tang Clan back in the day. So it's sort of what it reminds me of. They're the Wu-Tang Clan of NASCAR YouTube. So there you go. You guys can tell him I said that. Tell him I was talking about him. He called y'all the Wu-Tang Clan of NASCAR YouTube. Roofer says we are the underground. So there you go. Maybe we are the Wu. Wu-Tang is for the children. Why are we talking about the Wu-Tang Clan? Got off on a tangent there, didn't we? Napa Racing Fan says Legacy Motor Club immediately declined with the name change alone. Hey, there you go. Shah says I was the cursor, talking about the petty curse on Legacy Motorsport because they took the name away. One wise guy, NASCAR Weekly Podcast said something a couple weeks ago about having you on again. Hey, I'm game for it whenever. They know how to find me. I will happily jump on there whenever they want me to. Jensen Button to the 51 full-time in the 24 Cup Series. Hey, that would be cool. I'll put it as politely as I could, said Shaw. Elite Precision says lucky, LOL. Yeah, for sure. I was definitely lucky. I've seen a lot of my favorite guys win. Also, I saw Jamie McMurray win his first race driving the number 40 when he was filling in for Sterling Marlin. So I've seen some weird situation wins. Either I saw Greg Biffle's first win at Daytona. So I've seen some first time winners too. So I've been super lucky. No doubt about it. Shaw says, I actually, at the other studio, I wrote down the list of all the drivers I'd seen win, so I might read that off one day. I just don't have it here at this studio. Shaw says, did I cross the line? Nah, you're good, buddy. Jeff Henson, show us that hat, LOL. There you go. That's it. The old Trackhouse 99 there. What do you guys think of the hat for the video today? That's another prototype hat. It was a brown leather patch of the wing from the logo here. So that's another one we're trying out over there, trying to get the merch sorted out, and then we'll roll out where you can buy that merch when we get everything sort of figured out over there. Have you talked about the clinic that Hendrick is putting on this year? Even when the SHR showed up with magical speed, Hendrick team finds a way to win. Yeah, it's just sort of been that type of season, right? Like everything is breaking their way for sure for Hendrick Motorsports. I never got to see my driver win, but I did get to meet Dale Sr. in Victory Lane at the 2001 Rolex. He gave me grief about having a 24 hat on. As well he should, say Kyle, not Cal. As well he should. But yeah, he was actually really cool with Jeff Gordon. If you remember the old documentary they did not too long ago, Iceberg didn't pick the 24 to make the playoffs this year prior to the season, so I'm still in my feelings. So say Kyle, not Cal. Yeah, he is definitely regretting that. Like it's to the point where he's even laughing about it. So that's pretty cool on his part. But yeah, all those guys are good dudes. Another good dude, Elite Precision. I seen Harvick win at Michigan last year. At the time, I thought he had seen his last career win. Yeah, I mean he's getting up there in age, so I don't blame you thinking that. MWP, the Brady Bunch of NASCAR, LOL, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. Mark Barnum thinks they're the Brady Bunch. I still can't get over that LMC 15 right now, and the owner points is below something. That's Rick Ware Racing's car, and it's above Legacy Motor. Oh, don't give me painful information like that. I don't want to see those statistics, Moulton. You don't say things like that. I'm just joking. That's disappointing though, man. Gosh, Legacy Motorsports, get it together, man. When is Johnson's next race is like this? Like, I don't know. I've turned my head. Like I'm just so disappointed with Legacy. I had such high hopes. I don't even keep up with them. I'm just hoping they do good. How about Chase Briscoe driving with a broken finger? Go Chase B, go, says Cassandra Keller. Yeah, he said maybe I need to break the other one if that's what's going to make me go fast, or something to that effect. So that was pretty funny. Jeff Henson, me too. LMC 42, not 15, says Moulton. I knew who you're talking about. You're talking about Noah Gregson. I got you, buddy. Let's see here. Very cool hat you had on, says Wise Guy. Sup, Goat, says Black Flags Matter. What's up, Black Flags? Good to see you on here, man. Let's see. The hat, love me some skulls, says B1624. I appreciate it. Jared didn't pick the 24, says Black Flags. Yeah, he's hating that pick. I haven't looked at my preseason picks, so I'm pretty sure I've got some pretty stupid ones in there too. Or not stupid, but it's preseason. You got to you got to pick something wild. So I think I picked last year. I picked Denny Hamlin not to make the playoffs. So I ate crow on that one last year too. So let's see. Hendrick has won 4 of their last 6 races at Martinsville. All 4 of their drivers, almost as crazy as winning 5 Pocono races straight from 2012 to 2014. And they did it without cheating with those hood louvers. So good on them. Sekai Nakao, he did not give him hell for it. And you'll be my new favorite NASCAR Weekly podcast member, BFM. So there you go. BFM is now the new favorite of Sekai Nakao. I'll just spam hearts, says Black Flags Matter. Hey, so there you go. I appreciate it, man. Stupid River says, if I had my way, I would just open it up, the chat. The chat, that is, we're trying to grow this channel. We're trying not to get popped, LOL. Hey, it's all good. I get yellow dollar signs for the dumbest reasons. I don't even worry about it on these anymore. Chrome Diesel says I was at Pocono during HMS win streak, Johnson in 2013 and Dale Jr. in 2014. Hey, there you go. So actually, the one Kevin Harvick race that I saw win was the one where Dale Jr. ran out of fuel, and I was trolling hard on the Dale Jr. fans. And I tiptoed out of that joint that night because I was giving him crap. I never thought he would run out of gas. And when he ran out of gas, I was like, all right, let's hit the exit, boys. Let's go. There's a lot of people in these stands that don't like me right now. Let's see here. Martin fan, Darian, you're in a super chat saying, oh, sorry, Darian, you're in the chat. Great to see you. I gave NASCAR Weekly a super chat saying they needed you on a couple weeks ago. They need an adult in the room. Well, I don't know why you want me in there if you want an adult in the room. I've been not growing up my whole life. Jeff Henson, Popped, OJ and Toothpaste. Why do you think Ty Dillon isn't having a good year so far? I mean, like four blown engines to start off with is probably an issue. Let's see. Black Flags Matter said, got to go. Peace. Thanks for hanging out, Darren. That was fun, man. Jeff Henson, Denny, LOL. Legacy Motor Club needs to get their stuff together. Like, you can't have one of your cars outside the top 30 in owner points. And owner points pay more than driver spots. You'll be losing money at LMC. That's for sure. Jeff Henson, appreciate it, man. With the super chat, there's the fist bump, dude. And I think we got to the end of the chat here. So I'm going to call it. I appreciate you guys for hanging out. As always, come back next time. We'll do it again. I know we missed this Sunday, but of course I will do it this Sunday. We will get the pre-race going this Sunday. And other than that, peace.